MCU villains. Okay, I've made a lot of videos going over Marvel movies, DC movies, a whole bunch of stuff. Villains with aura, villains that are evil. However, because of the success of MCU hero aura, you guys have requested that I do the same thing, but for villains. And here's the thing. Not just being the YouTuber that I am, and I am going to milk this type of video, because for whatever reason, you guys just like watching these aura tier lists. I don't understand it, but I enjoy making these, so before somebody says, Ethan's milking it, yes, because you guys enjoy it. I'm sorry, that's how this relationship works. You tell me what videos I make by watching them. That is how this transaction of attention works out. And I'm okay with it because I do really like making these videos. And we are going to be doing MCU villains. Now, I actually understand this more than heroes. You want to know why? Because villains require being the aura merchant of every single movie that they're in. Why? Because they are the thing that the protagonist has to work against. Let me give you an example. Imagine if you were watching Star Wars and Darth Vader got beat up by Obi-Wan Kenobi in the first movie. Nobody would care about Darth Vader ever. Okay? It is very important that you establish your villain in any movie or whatever as a threat. Because if they are not, then we no longer care. Find me a great movie that has a bad villain. I will wait. Okay? I'm sure there's going to be somebody. That's going to start a debate. And in this video, we're going to be going over MCU villains and ranking them on terms of aura alone, okay? And I'm just going to say this. If a villain did not make this, one of two things happened. One, I just forgot about him, and that's probably the most likely. But two, they lack so much aura that they didn't even register in my memory. That's how bad it is, okay? Like, I'm just gonna get this one out of the way. There is not one Captain Marvel villain that made this video. Why? Because Captain Marvel movies have the worst villains ever. Like, actually horrifically bad villains. Name them. Name one. Skrull. No. That's the enemy faction that they're fighting. No. Give me the villain name of a Captain Marvel movie. 90% of you wouldn't, and you've probably seen the movie. No, it's because they're bad. Okay? Frankly, that's most of the time. There's still going to be bad ones on here because I need to roast them. But we're going to be getting into this with some of the heavy hitters, okay? And with all that out of the way, if you want to support the channel, please consider a like, comment, and subscribe. I don't got a membership, merch yet, or a cryptocurrency. All you got to do is like, comment, and subscribe, and that helps me, okay? Now, after all of that, let's get into the MCU villain aura tier list. Monger. Let me tell you something. We came a long way, boys, okay? Iron Man 1, Iron Man's running a fade with the Taliban, selling weapons to the US government and the Taliban. We got a little bit too realistic, okay? That's all I'm saying, bro. Watch back those old movies. And I'm going to be going back to them. And tell me that, like, the first Iron Man movie is not a little bit too realistic, okay? Like, the first villain of the first Iron Man movie is an arms dealer that wants to continue selling stuff to us and the bad guys. And then kill Tony Stark to get the profits from Stark Enterprises. Tell me that is not a little bit too realistic. Like, we went from this to purple Josh Brolin trying to snap away half of the universe. Like, we got too real here. Now, in terms of a villain, let's just keep it real here. He's just an evil businessman that kind of looks like Chuck Liddell, but without the mohawk. Like, let's keep it real. That's what it is. Now, his suit, like, it's just a buffer version of the normal Iron Man suit, and I'm not talking about Hulkbuster. In terms of power and aura, he's near kind of the bottom. Now, I will give him a slight point, okay? Because I do think his introduction is pretty good, pretty menacing. But aura-wise, like, he's a fairly forgettable guy. Like, it's kind of like that From Software, not From Software, like normal boss, like, game design, where it's like, this is gonna be a normal enemy throughout the MCU, but this is the first main villain, okay? I'm going to put him in low, especially when you're comparing him to everybody else on here. Abomination. Who else forgot that Abomination is still alive in the Marvel Universe? Why? Because I've purged the She-Hulk from my memory. I remember he existed from the Shang-Chi movie. Why? Because I think Shang-Chi is an underrated masterpiece in terms of MCU material. Okay, I will defend that in and out, dog. Shang-Chi is one of the better Marvel movies to be released within the last couple years, okay? But people just forget about it. Abomination's in that movie. He got a new look, but I'm talking about the Incredible Hulk's one. I'm sorry. The Incredible Hulk is a good movie. It's the only time that we've seen Hulk be Hulk within... Like, I would even argue the Hulk that we got in Avengers is kind of like 50-50 as good as the Incredible Hulk. I want Hulk to go ballistic, okay? Like, real talk, that's what we want. Everybody hates the Hulk, but it's kind of like, okay, but what did he actually do, though? Like, real talk. Like, you want us to be like, man, the Hulk's powers are uncontrollable. And then we go about looking at it as like, okay, bro, he's actually, like, really good at controlling his powers. Like, when we get to Avengers, and then we go into, like, Age of Ultron, he goes bad, and then we're like, see, he has trouble controlling it. No! Scarlet Witch controlled his fucking mind! Like, actually, the Hulk has a pretty good grip on reality if you really think about it. But in the Incredible Hulk, we're like, okay, that guy's a menace. He has to involve the work of, I'm not even kidding you, Hickson Gracie, the brother of Hoist Gracie. Oh yeah, that canonically in the MCU, the Hulk knows jujitsu and trained with Hickson Gracie and in the Gracie clan. Okay, in the lore of the MCU, Hickson Gracie taught the Hulk his breathing exercises, which is hilarious. Okay? In terms of villainhood, Abomination, I dig it. I really do. I dig it. Now, is he going to be high? No. But he is everything that I want the Hulk to be, but we only got him in one thing. We didn't let him aura farm that hard. I'm going to put him in mid, but top of mid. I'm open to putting him up. Whiplash. Probably one of the most forgotten villains of all time. Why? Because, we only got 3 minutes of him in his final form before he got killed by the power of teamwork in Iron Man 2 with War Machine and Iron Man. But throughout that, Iron Man 2 is a great movie. I love Iron Man 2. I think that's all time, probably in my top 10 favorite MCU movies ever made. Okay? Okay. He's gonna go, in probably bottom of high. Why? The race car scene. I love the race car scene, okay? I think his suit looks cool. I think his powers are pretty cool. I'm sorry, bro. Arc reactor whips is such a cool weapon that I have to put him pretty high. I love his design. I don't like that we didn't do a lot with it. And his final armor design you see for 3 minutes. Some of you guys just don't even remember this because he gets taken out that quickly. That's the one thing I don't like. I think you could have done some more aura farming. And I'm going to put him in high because he is a relatively intimidating character. Ties really cool into the Stark family. I think I'm going to put him in bottom of high, but top of high right now. Red Skull. Okay. Now this is where I'm going to start bassing the Marvel movies. I'm sorry. How do you fumble Red Skull this badly? And I'm not talking about in the first Captain America movie because he's cool there. We literally never did anything cool with the Red Skull. I'm sorry. Literally one of the biggest characters within the rogues gallery of Captain America has been relegated to a side character cameo. I will never forgive Marvel for making Red Skull the guardian of the Soul Stone, and then it's implied that Captain America talked to Red Skull again, and then they just never sewed that off. That's so dumb. I hate that with a passion, actually. Because you have something that's so cool that you could do a lot with, that you just never visit again because runtime. And who needs depth when you have CGI battles? I would pay good money to hear a conversation between Captain America when he's returning the Soul Stone and Red Skull. Because these are two people that have lived basically the same amount of time, that have been on vastly different paths. I would love to have heard that conversation, but instead, they turned my boy Red Skull into a plot device. Aura? Very mid, bottom of mid. Below Abomination, yeah, mid. Loki. Now, I understand that makes some people mad because Loki was not an MCU hero, even though he did become a hero. I'm putting him in villain because I like him as a hero, but he's had more of these cool moments as a villain. Okay, Loki legitimately got me in Thor 2. Like, he did. I want you to think about this, dude. Loki got so many people with his resurrections that people actively were thinking for like 3 years after Infinity War was made, okay, Loki got out of it. Loki got out of it. There's no way that he's actually dead. I remember somebody made a movie going frame by frame trying to gaslight you into thinking that, ayo, bro, that's a clone. That's a clone. He survived. He survived. Like, no, he's dead. Okay? Like, that's the only thing that was kind of crazy, that, like, he came back from the dead so many times that when he finally did die, we're like, okay, he's back, he's back. And I would almost rather that they kept him dead because Thor Ragnarok was such a good, like, ending of his character. But then I'm going to immediately go back on there because the Loki TV show is legitimately really good. Like, I really like the Loki TV show. I think that gave him... I think that's probably one of the most satisfying ends to his character. Now, in terms of a villain, oh my goodness, bro, I liked him in Avengers 1. Avengers 1, he's good. He's a compelling villain in Thor 1. Thor 2, he's a little bit more compelling, although he's like not... He's like secondary protagonist, turns into antagonist. Thor Ragnarok, they made him a little bit too goofy, but I dig it. I'm going to put him high. I'm going to put him really high. Almost... Okay. If I count the Loki TV show, I'm putting him in max. I'm sorry, bro. He has some, like, legitimate aura-farming ass moments in the Loki TV show. And it sucks that that wasn't made into a movie, because that would have gone so hard. I'm going to put him in max, only because of the Loki TV show and stuff he does in there. Malekith from Thor 2. Who's that? I've never heard of that man. I've never seen this man before in my life. And I'm not even, like, half joking, dude. This is one of the most forgettable villains I've ever seen. Like, this is the problem with Thor, okay? Thor, I feel like when they were making these movies, and listen, I'm going to rant about the direction of Marvel in a few other different areas. Thor's a good example of, this is why you need to be goofy. Why? Because Chris Hemsworth is like a goofy guy, okay? So when you made Thor 2 just way too serious, I'm sorry. It's Chris Hemsworth with long hair, with a hammer called Mjolnir, and you're having him fight a dark elf named Malekith. You are taking yourself way too seriously. You're like up here, I need you down here. This is where jokes were needed. I think Thor Ragnarok was good, but I think Thor Love and Thunder was a way too much of an overcorrection in the goofiness. One of the worst villains ever. Who is that? Who the fuck is that? Legitimately, I have no clue who this man is. Eric Killmonger. Okay, from one side of the spectrum to another. Okay. Some people think I dislike the Black Panther movie. No, I just think it's slightly overrated because people legitimately think that is one of the greatest movies ever made. No, it's top 5. It is 100% top 5 in the MCU. It's not better than Civil War. It's not. It's not better than Infinity War. Like, calm it down a little bit. But it is top 5. And part of the reason that it is top 5 is that the duality between T'Challa and Killmonger is so good. It sells this movie. It does. Okay? Killmonger is one of the best foils to a hero that I've ever seen. Okay? Like, I almost wish they kept him alive because I think that would have been a cool dynamic to have, but you know, we didn't know that what was going to happen with Boseman. We didn't know that. We didn't know any of that was going to happen. But dang, Black Panther 1 is good. Like, I didn't want to talk about Black Panther 2, and maybe I will. I don't know. I didn't want to talk about Black Panther 2 because it is so unfair to compare Black Panther 2 and Black Panther 1 that it's just bullying. Okay? But Eric Killmonger, damn near max. Almost, like, I'm going to put him in max now. I'm open to moving him down. But I'm going to put him in max. Dude, is he not one of the best villains in the entirety of the MCU? Am I tweaking right now by saying that? I'm going to put him in max. Damn, yeah. I'm going to put him in max right now. I'm open to moving him down, though. Hela. Am I the only one that thought Hela was a little bit overrated? Like, I get it, she's hot. I get it. But, like, a little bit overrated. I'm not going to put her in max. I do think she's probably the best villain outside of Loki for the Thor movies. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Gore the God Butcher is ridiculously... Like, they fumbled it. I'm sorry, there's no way of saying it. You have Kristen Bale and you made him a one-dimensional villain. Okay? Like, you're dealing with, like, high... like, theology when you're talking about Gore the God Butcher. And you're just like, yeah, he's evil because his daughter died. Like, really? Like, that's all you did? That's kind of weak. That's kind of weak. I'm just going to say that right now. But when we're talking about Hela, I think her character motivations are really good. I love the fact that they explored Odin being like a warmongering leader and Hela being the firstborn of Odin. Is kind of like, okay, I kind of dig this. Now, does that introduce some plot holes? Like, why the fuck did Thor's mom never say anything? Yeah, nobody in Asgard said a thing. Nobody? Okay, that's a little bit crazy. Nobody said a word. It's kind of crazy how nobody knew about her. There wasn't even a legend introduced. If they were going to do it again, they would have laid the seeds a little bit better. But, like, yeah. Yeah. I dig Hela, and I'm putting Hela in high above Whiplash, and I'm going to move Whiplash down the mid, but I do think she's a tad bit overrated, but she goes in high. Why? Because they were never really able to beat her. We got that funny meme template out of it, and 2, she did destroy Thor's hammer. I'm putting you in high. Ultron, you know what? I take it back. Ultron is the most fumbled character in the entirety of Marvel. I'm sorry. Does anyone remember watching that one animated Avengers movie where it's the children of the original Avengers, and they have like this Terminator Skynet battle with Ultron in the future? That was my introduction to Ultron, and he was menacing. I love that. Max, unbelievably Max, and I'm still gonna put him up there. And I am going to put him in Max. Yes, I feel like you could have done so much more with him. Like, the MCU is in such a weird area right now because they've changed the villain for the next Avengers movie 3 times. The first one, I remember hearing a rumor that they were going to do Ultron, and then they took Ultron out of it, and they're making Ultron for something else. I think Armor Wars they're doing. And then they changed it to Kang the Conqueror, and now they're changing it to Doctor Doom. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in Marvel. I feel like Ultron yeah, Max, I'm sorry. His voice actor sells it so hard, okay? I think if they ever make another Terminator movie and they have to put a voice to Skynet, actor for Ultron, automatically sign him up. He sold it that well. I remember watching... Okay, who else remembers watching the original Age of Ultron trailer and legitimately being like, oh, they broke Captain America's shield? Yeah, bro. Max aura, dude. I love it. Ikaris. Ugh. Okay, I was gonna put him in Who, but he is kind of cool. But Eternals is such a bad movie that it's really hard to get. I'm putting him in low. He's just evil Superman star child. He just is. I'm putting him in low. Like, what do you want me to say, bro? Like I can't say a lot of positive stuff about the Eternals. I think the special effects are cool. I think the super speed scenes are cool. I think the laser eyes are cool. Everything else is mid. I'm just gonna say that. I'm putting this in low. Almost Who. Ego the Living Planet. Now, I do think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the weakest out of the trilogy. However, I would put Guardians of the Galaxy 2 not even in the realm of worst MCU movies. That's how good that trilogy was. Now, when we're getting to Ego the Living Planet, I do think they brushed over the fact that Star-Lord is part celestial, or like kind of like that, way too quickly. Way too quickly. I'm sorry, what? And that all of his powers died because Ego died. Like, I think that was like a plot device because they introduced it, like... I don't know. I dislike that aspect of it, but I do like the relationship between Star-Lord and Ego, and I think it's overall a good movie. But in terms of aura, it's kind of like... Am I wrong? He just gives off, like, country singer vibes, but, like, scummy dad vibes, and he is. I'm gonna put him in, like, low, but not low. No. Nah, not Ironmonger level. I'm putting him in mid, bottom of mid. That's it. Winter Soldier. Dog, where do you think I'm gonna put him? Where do you think I'm gonna... I think Winter Soldier probably has some of the most edits out of any villain in the MCU. And yes, I did the Winter Soldier within the Heroes one. And if I were to know that I was making this, I wouldn't have put him there. But he did become a hero in Bucky. However, you cannot tell me that Captain America 2 does not have some of the most egregious aura-farming moments in the entire series, and it's because of the Winter Soldier. Brother, they were talking about the Winter Soldier like his ass was a Baba Yaga or John Wick, okay? Dude, do you have any idea how many edits I've seen today of the Winter Soldier, and it opens up with, like, Black Widow talking him up as, like, most people don't even believe he exists, but those who do call him the Winter Soldier. Also, what a dope name. Like, I'm sorry, objectively, that's a dope name. I love that they just made him Terminator. Oh, and here's one other thing that I gotta break up. If you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they say that the Winter Soldier was attacking Vietnam troops in Cambodia. And I'm sorry, I need that now. I need at least one episode of the Winter Soldier fighting people in Vietnam. Yes, Max. Up there with above Killmonger. Max, or no question at all. Dormamu. I think Dormamu is probably the best, like, god level villain. Like, let's compare it. Like, we got Dormamu, we got Ego, we got the Celestials. I think he's the best one. I think so. Like, they used him very sparingly. He's menacing every single time he's on the scene. Okay? And Doctor Strange didn't actually beat him, he just merely out-IQ'd him. I thought that was smart. I think Dormamu is an ancient outer god of chaos, okay? If Doctor Strange in his first movie was able to beat him, this is like me no-hitting the final boss in Elden Ring, okay? It loses tons of aura, but the fact that Doctor Strange had to resort to trickery to bargain with Dormammu, I like that. I do like that. I like that a lot. I'm going to put Dormammu mid. You know what? I'm going to move down Ego to low. I'm going to keep Dormammu up. I'm sorry. Dormammu has some good scenes. I think we need to utilize them more, though. Kingpin. Okay. Do you know what made the Daredevil so good? Well, number one, the best adaptation of Daredevil of all time. Number two, the side characters were really good, mostly the Punisher. The action and the choreography was amazing. Top 3 of all MCU projects. And the villain Kingpin is, again, an amazing foil for the Daredevil. Okay, when you have a dude who is literally a lawyer that uses the flawed law to, like, and uses that, and, like, that's supposed to be his structure, okay? And then you have a Kingpin who has power, but uses his power to corrupt law, is such a good, like, foil for Daredevil. I love it. I really do, okay? I'm putting Kingpin in high. I am, okay? Some people were mad that the Punisher was not put in high in the last video, and here's the thing. Yeah, I'll accept I was wrong on that. Punisher should have been high. He just should have. Like, this isn't about power. Kingpin is objectively, like, one of the best villains that we've seen. If you're so good in a TV show from Netflix that Disney invites you over to play the same character in Hawkeye, and then invites you over again to be a future villain, hi, I gotta put you there. Agatha. I really liked WandaVision. I did. I was not a fan of Agatha. Like, at all. No. I kind of liked Agatha. But then I really didn't like Agatha because it was like, oh, look, we have a fan favorite villain. Oh, let's make her an anti-hero so we can do another TV show called Agatha all along. And then we're going to put her in the What If series and make her basically God. I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb. I didn't like it, like, at all. Like, it felt really forced. And by forced, some people are going to be like, oh, forced what? It felt like they had a villain that people liked because of how sparingly that she was used. But I didn't like the final fight scene. I thought the final fight scene was kind of dumb. I was kind of like, okay, I'm sorry. Wanda literally 1v1 Thanos to the point that Thanos had to call in an airstrike. But now she's having trouble with Agatha? What? That's dumb. That's dumb. I don't like that. What? Or she sang a little ditty. Low. Very low. It's not as forgettable as Malekith, though. I'll defend her from that. She's not as bad as Malekith. Ronan the Accuser. Who's that? Who is Ronan the Accuser? Okay. This is a testament to how good the Guardians of the Galaxy films are. When they can have an objectively buns villain in Ronan the Accuser, it's still a phenomenal movie because the Guardians of the Galaxy is the... I want you to think about this. Marvel movies before Guardians of the Galaxy were way more serious. And I'm going to talk about how drastic that tone is later on in this video. I'm getting to it, don't worry. But Ronan the Accuser is the last super bland villain because they realized that they could make funny movies. And that started with Guardians of the Galaxy. I will go this far. If Guardians of the Galaxy was never made, Marvel movies would still be pretty grim. Okay, and that was part of their work. They didn't expect Guardians of the Galaxy to be a fan favorite movie. So when it was, it changed the course of Marvel. And I'm going to put him in who? He's a bad villain. He is. What did he do, really? I have a hammer. Dope. Really. Yeah, dope. Awesome. Who? Yeah. Wenwu. Listen, man. I keep on saying it. I will defend this on every stand. I understand Marvel objectively is starting to go downhill. You will not convince me that Shang-Chi is not a good movie. It's so good. I love Shang-Chi. I think the villain's good. I think it is a classic son versus father movie, and I think it's done better than just about every other Marvel movie. And I think you have to put him in high. You do. You have to put him in high. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me. You do. I love Shang-Chi. It's such a great movie. People that dislike it never watched it. I remember the groups of people that were waiting to throw tomatoes at this movie because they thought it was going to fail. And then it did well, and then they just never talked about it. No, don't be a coward. Say the movie's good. Admit that you were wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I'll say this right now. What movie on here did I think was going to be ass, but then it turned out to be good? I don't know. I have actually been pretty on point. I don't know. When I get to something that I thought was going to be bad, but it turns out to be good, I'll admit when I'm wrong. The amount of people that said that Shang-Chi was going to be the worst Marvel movie ever, and then it turned out to be one of the better ones, admit that you're wrong. That's all I'm asking. Hi. Gotta put him there. The Mandarin. And, Iron Man 3's bad. It just is. I really hate Iron Man 3. I think Iron Man 3 is the worst ending of a trilogy of every single Marvel movie ever. Okay? And this is when Marvel movies were realizing that they can't just be, serious movies. People forget this. Iron Man 1, 2, and 3 is such a drastically different tone than any other Marvel trilogy outside of maybe Captain America. However, this is what I gotta say about Captain America. Iron Man 1, objectively a great movie. Captain America 1 is mid. I will defend that. That's not as good a movie as you remember. Captain America 2 is phenomenal. Iron Man 2 is okay. Civil War is barely a Captain America movie. Civil War is an Avengers movie. You can't tell me that it isn't. Iron Man 3 is terrible. I hate this movie so much. Who? No. Tell me who the main villain is of Iron Man 3. It's not this guy. No, it's not. It's some fucking nerd that has powers of regeneration. Man, this will get me to crash out, dog. What a stupid movie, man. I hate Iron Man 3. Now I'm in a bad mood because of how bad this movie is. I don't even like watching it. I just look at it and I'm like... this movie was so... The kid that he helped, okay? Shows up as so dumb, dude. So dumb, man. I really dislike... I really dislike this movie. I hate it, man. And they had to retcon it because they were like, okay, the Mandarin aren't actually... Oh, yeah, that's another thing. The Mandarin were always meant to be the 10 rings in Wenwu. But when they were making Iron Man to begin with, they didn't think they were going to get that far, so they made the 10 Rings a Taliban group. Like, think about how crazy that is. They changed it to a Taliban group because they had to sell it to the US. I hate it. Oh my god. Baron Zimo. The main villain from Civil War. Okay, this guy with IQ alone was able to bring down the entirety of the Avengers. That alone is aura. Okay, like, probably one of the better mastermind characters. Okay, like, real talk. Now, do I think some of the stuff that he was able to figure out is kind of like, huh? So let me get this straight. You were interrogating these Hydra members, okay? And I can believe it. Because the fact is I can go to Argentina right now and go to some German towns that are a little bit too German, if you know what I'm saying, okay? Like, I could probably find a descendant of one of those guys, okay? And they probably do have a notebook with some medals in there that I can't sew. Okay, probably. But then he was able to find out the activation code for the Winter Soldier. That's kind of crazy. And then from there was able to find out the Winter Soldier killed Tony Stark's parents. Okay, and this is another thing I gotta bring up. Okay? Okay, before I say it, I love that it was the Winter Soldier that did it because I remember in the theater finding out, oh my gosh, the Winter Soldier killed Tony Stark's parents. Holy shit. That's really cool. Nobody fucking told Iron Man? Not one person? Oh my god. Nick Fury didn't know? Nobody decided to say that? Ayo, Nick Fury didn't pull Captain America aside being like, yo, yeah, Bucky, the Winter Soldier? Yeah, he fucking killed Tony Stark's parents, so maybe don't bring them around each other. Nobody said a thing. Not one person said, I think that's the most unbelievable thing, that S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't know about it. We found out that S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually part of an offsuit of Hydra, or Hydra was able to infiltrate S.H.I.E.L.D. Nobody knew that? That's crazy. I would have, like that, I understand why they did it for the plot, but the thought that Nick Fury didn't know is stupid. That's stupid. I hate that, though. But Baron Zemo? Not high. I'm putting him at top of mid, because at the end of the day, he's kind of just a mastermind villain. He didn't really do any, like, physical stuff outside of Falcon and the Winter Soldier where they had to give him something. Because in the comics, he has a sword. So, yeah. Mysterio. I like what they did with, like, he was going to take the place of Iron Man within the role model of Spider-Man. And here's the thing. I actually really like that Iron Man is kind of like a pseudo Uncle Ben figure for Spider-Man. I really do like that. Now, I think they should have gone all the way, and one of the last words of Iron Man to Spider-Man should have been, with great power comes great responsibility, or a variation of that. Some people say that would have been cheesy. I'm over here like, Tony Stark is already the Uncle Ben figure of Spider-Man. He already is, okay? Like, we didn't hear about Uncle Ben the entirety of his trilogy, okay? Uncle Ben doesn't matter. Tony Stark does. I think you should have gone all the way. And I like where Arthur Fleck was supposed to come in there. But is it just me and it was kind of dumb? Like, it was like, oh yeah, bro, there's these monsters that are attacking. And they have power over fire. And then I'm going to come in there and use magic to simulate. Like, you don't have to do that. You already have the power of Iron Man. You don't have to sell us on, like, this is an Avengers level threat. Like, I can buy that there's, like, CGI technology where you can project it. That's not what I'm saying. But, like, you already are so powerful, you don't have to be a villain. You just don't. Like, what was his villainous thing? What made Mysterio into a villain? Oh, Tony Stark used his eyeglass technology and called it barf. No, like, real talk, that is the reason why Mysterio is a villain. That is his motivation. That's dumb. I don't like that. I'm putting him in low. Like, really? You became a villain because he called your technology barf? I'm not even kidding you. That's literally part of his character motivation. I dislike that. I think he could have done better with that. Green Goblin. I'm sorry. Is Green Goblin not the coolest Spider-Man villain outside of Venom? And maybe if Venom ever gets introduced to the MCU, then we can talk about it. But, like, I'll be real. The 3 Venom movies took the aura off of Venom pretty heavily. They sewed it off way too much. Green Goblin, on the other hand, let's face it. William Dafoe is literally born to play him. The only other character that I would argue that William Dafoe is equally as born to play is the Joker. Let me tell you something right now, okay? There's only two, I know I'm going on a tangent into Batman. There's only two actors that I want to play the Joker moving forward, and that is William Dafoe and Bill Skarsgård. Yes, I think he will be an amazing Joker if they go that route. Sorry, that's just the facts. No, Green Goblin, on the other hand, again, you could do Bill Skarsgård for that. Bill Skarsgård could do a great Green Goblin. But William Dafoe literally made the role. I'm putting him high, almost max. I only want to put one more in max just for space, but he's almost there. If one of these gets knocked out, Green Goblin goes in. That's how good he is. Yellow Jacket. Who? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yellow Jacket's dumb. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Oh, well, Yellow Jacket became MODOK. Who cares? Like, who legitimately cares? He looks fucking stupid. He looks dumb. MODOK, well, who cares? I'm gonna die in Avenger. No. No, you're not. No, you're not. Nah, get out of here. Dumb. Like, here's the thing. I'll be real with you when I don't like something. I didn't like that. I don't like Yellow Jacket. Let's face it. The Ant-Man movies they're just not good. They're the weakest trilogy out of all of them. Like, Ant-Man 2, Ant-Man and the Wasp. No, not even that. I forgot who the villain of that one was. Ugh, Yellow Jacket. Yeah, who? Yeah, I gotta put him in who. Who cares, dude? Bad. I really hate that, actually. The Vulture from Homecoming. Okay, let me say this. Spider-Man Homecoming is a great movie. I really do like it. I think Spider-Man, Far From Home, the Mysterio one, really dislike it. I love that the Vulture legitimately has one of the most realistic motivations out of any villain here. Why did he become a villain? Because he came from a construction company that was supposed to get the contract to rebuild New York, but then Stark Industries got the contract even though he caused the damage, which is, again, getting way too real. Like, what do you mean a company that at this point in the timeline, Stark Industries is still an arms dealing company, and then they destroy it inadvertently, and then they get to rebuild it? That's way too real. Like, that sounds a bit too real. You can look into that rabbit hole and you can be like, wait, who's getting that contract to rebuild the shit that blew up? Yeah, we're getting a little bit too real here. Okay? He gets mad. He loses his job. Now his family's broke, so he needs to provide for his family. So what does he do? He takes old technology from the Jatari invasion and starts selling it on the black market. But he's also a great engineer because he worked in the military and was able to get... Oh yeah, there's another thing. In the original draft, Vulture is actually from the same unit that Falcon is from. That's how he was able to build it. And then he's doing all of this to support his family. Is that not the most realistic, motivation out of all the villains? Like, it is. Bro's borderline justified, actually. I understand why people hate Tony Stark. Bro, Tony Stark kind of an asshole. I'm gonna put, actually, I love his design. His design is so cool. This is tough, actually. I'm going to put him in mid. Yeah, I'm going to put him in mid. Yeah, not quite high. Taskmaster. I didn't say it right the first time, so that's why there's a weird cut. Okay, I do want to rant about this. Does Black Widow not feel like a movie that was supposed to be made during the same time as Iron Man and Captain America and Incredible Hulk, but they were dragging their feet because they thought that a movie that was, where the main star is a woman was gonna bomb in the early 2010s? So they dragged their feet to make the movie, and then Black Widow literally is already dead. Is already fucking dead. So you decide to make the movie just so you can make some last-minute bucks on the Scarlett Johansson bandwagon. I don't like that. And then, here's the reason why I believe this. Is the tone of Black Widow not confusing, at all? It feels like this movie was meant to be super serious and meant to be very similar to, the first Iron Man movie, which was pretty dark and pretty realistic. But then they had to throw in jokes because they were like, well, it's a modern Marvel movie. And I get it, but, Watch the Black Widow movie and tell me it does not feel like a really early Marvel movie when they didn't realize that they were supposed to be really jokey. Like, it's a really bizarre movie to watch because they don't know what it wants it to be. Taskmaster is another one. Taskmaster feels like a villain that should have been in the original phases of Marvel, but instead, like, it's a villain that can copy any fighting style on the planet, but is mute. And I know somebody's gonna, like, I also don't like that she's mute. I don't care that it's a girl at all. Make her talk shit. Taskmaster, like, is partly famous for talking shit while he fights you. Why would you take that away? This feels like Deadpool having his mouth sewn shut. That's dumb. I don't like that. Well, how would you have done it? Oh, easy. Taskmaster should have been like one of the fighting instructors of like the Black Widow group, and that's why like she's so good at fighting and copying styles. And then she's talking shit to Natasha because she's like, "How did I train you and you survived this far and you're this ass at fighting?" I would have been cool with that, but no, let's make her mute. That's stupid. That's dumb. I'm putting her in Who, actually. Nah, she does have some cool moments. I'm putting her at the top of Who because you could have done so much better with it. Thanos. There is no other way to end this off than Thanos. I'm sorry. Is this guy not the most aura-farming villain of all time? He is. Like, dude, like, keep it real. Like, it's him, Heath Ledger's Joker, and the Winter Soldier, and maybe Ultron. Like, he is. If you look up Marvel villains with aura, Thanos is literally one of the only characters that shows up. Infinity War is either #1 or #2 best Marvel movies of all time. And you want to know why? Because Thanos is such a menace. He's not even just a villain. He is a literal plot device that moves everybody forward. That is how you write a villain. I'm talking prime Darth Vader level of aura that is going on in these movies. I love it. Okay. The only thing I didn't like is you made him so ruthless in the second Avengers, in the Avengers Endgame, and the plot reason behind that is that this is a younger Thanos that is, like, more angry, and I'm over here like, it's literally Thanos, but, like, 5 years ago. Like, really? You changed that? What happened, dude? Were you on CBD? Like, what did you take to get that calm? Like, how? And Max. I gotta put him in Max. He's the top of Max. Who's gonna disagree with me? And there you go. That is the Marvel villain aura tier list. Okay, a little bit of a mouthful. You guys requested this video because of how well the MCU hero video did, and I just wanted to give you guys a nice treat for this beautiful Wednesday. Not really. It's still like -2 outside. Damn, it's too cold outside. And yeah, no, I got a lot of big videos coming out. I'm pushing back the Elden Ring lore video because frankly, that's taken a little bit more work than I thought it would, which I'll be real with you. Thinking that I'd be able to get the entirety of Elden Ring lore done in 1 week, from scripting to filming to editing, is a little bit crazy. So I'm going to have to push that back, but no, we're still getting movies on Wednesday and Friday, and I hope you enjoy them, and maybe a surprise video or two. We'll see. We'll see how it is. And with all that out of the way, if you want to continue to support the channel, please consider like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 250,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I think that's possible because of you guys. And with all that out of the way, I will see you all in the next video. Adios, guys.